How's it going, guys? This is Adriene, and today I'm going to talk about other YouTube creators.
Run.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Adriene, and welcome to my channel where I talk about the keto lifestyle, health, nutrition, and just pretty much trying to help you become the better version of yourself. So the reason why I want to make this video is actually because the one thing that I noticed is that a lot of people use YouTube just to kind of get information, and I've noticed that it's actually, there's a lot of people on there, and it's very difficult to actually find who's actually, not necessarily right about things, but who actually has good content. And, starting off, the person that I actually look at for advice, and this actually came from a lot of my friends who, worked out a lot. A lot of them recommended this guy named Jeff Cavaliere in his channel called AthleanX. And, at first, I looked at some of his videos, and when I started working out, the one thing that I learned is that I didn't know anything at all about, fitness and, working out and how to properly do techniques. The one thing that I learned is that myself, like other people, is that how we know how to stretch, basic, workouts are things that you actually learned in like 7th grade from a 7th grade gym teacher. So, it's not necessarily correct, and it's not necessarily really, it depends on what your goals are, but it isn't really the proper way to do things, and you can easily injure yourself. So this guy, Jeff Cavaliere on AthleanX channel, he has a lot of subscribers, maybe probably, in the millions. So he has really good workout routines. He has some products that he sells, some apps and stuff like that he has. Like, I personally do the ab workout that he has. And he actually puts, as he even says, it puts the science back into, working out and fitness. And he's trained like a lot of people in the past, as far as like MLB players and, all kinds of stuff. This guy's pretty cool. He's pretty good, I mean. And so another person who I follow is, and I'm kind of just going to give you a bunch of people that I follow that I think they're amazing. And I think that they follow that goal that I have, is to actually help people be a better version of themselves. One other person that I follow is actually, for yoga, for instance. I started doing some yoga just to do some stretches because I've noticed that my hamstrings were very tight, and just in general, my body wasn't, at the condition to be able to run as much. And I've noticed that other things that you do to tweak your body, such as, workouts with your glutes, or workouts, with, your hamstrings or your calves, stuff like that. I've noticed that yoga actually can help with that, and not necessarily just that, but I also noticed that yoga gives you like a mental clarity. And one person that I recommend for yoga is this one channel of this one person called Adriene with Yoga with Adriene. She's really cool. She makes it very, very simple. And I didn't know anything about yoga, and I started doing the 30-day challenge that she had, and I really love it, and I respect the yoga so much. And I got into yoga because I was listening to some, I was thinking about getting into a discipline like a martial arts. And I don't remember who it was that said, you want a martial arts? It was an MMA fighter who said this. I don't remember his name, but he said, you want to do martial arts? You want to do martial arts that's on yourself? Do yoga. And I completely understand what they were saying. You're literally fighting yourself the entire time. So it's just pretty cool. So AthleanX for workouts, Yoga with Adriene. 2 channels that I recommend. So as far as, let's say, fashion, that's one thing that I really like to kind of, dress a little nicer, and just kind of, I notice that you feel very confident when you dress up and when you dress nice. And it actually also came with losing the weight. When I was really big at 300 plus pounds, so I always compare weight loss with playing golf. When you're a beginner golf, all you're trying to do is hit the ball. That's it. You just hit the ball. When you're really fat, 300 plus pounds, all you're doing is wanting the clothes to just fit, just, your pants to close, to zip up. But once you're actually at the level, like for instance in golf, when you start getting better and you start, actually kind of getting better at the fundamentals, then you start learning technique. You start learning how to aim, not necessarily just hit the ball, but actually get to where you want to go. You start looking at, let's say, the loft design on, the clubs. You start looking at the angles. You start looking at what clubs to use. You start looking at, the precision of the balls that you're using, stuff like that. So same thing with clothes, at first when you're, when I was 300 plus pounds, I just wanted to fit. But now, I started, experimenting with patterns and stuff like that. I started looking at different types of materials that look better. And again, I think it builds confidence, when you look good. One person that I follow for that on YouTube, his name is Dessaint. And he's fairly new on YouTube. I mean, I think he's been doing this for maybe a year or so. But this guy, he makes it seem so simple. He makes it everything fundamental. He tells you what places to shop at. He puts links and all this stuff. So it's very very educational, and it actually and it's strictly for men's fashion. Which I think is amazing because you don't see a lot of channels out there again, and there's a lot of people who do this, but there's some people who I think excel at what they do, and Tim Dessaint is one of them. One guy that I follow too, his name is I think it is Alan Rogers. He has an amazing intro, but he is in a channel called Every Damn Day Fitness, I believe. This guy is like, I mean, he reviews other YouTube creators, and he kind of finds the flaws that they do, and but not just that, but I think that he kind of cuts through a lot of the bullshit that you see, and he does. His way of coming about it, for some people might be a little bit aggressive, but he has very good content, and he kind of wants to, kind of like the same thing that I'm doing today is where I'm talking about creators on there who I think excel at what they do. He kind of goes a little bit the other way, where he says, well, look, all these people are saying the wrong things, and if you, especially for young people, when they go to YouTube and they find, let's say, a workout video, they can find somebody that can, that they probably look good, or they look like they know what they're doing, but sometimes they really don't. And I think he cuts through all that crap, and he just kind of puts it back to, hey, don't listen to everybody on YouTube, okay? I mean, some people are out there just making content, for money or for other reasons, but he kind of does that too. So I really like Alan Rogers, Everyday Fitness. I think he really puts, cuts the bull and just tells how it is, and just kind of shows you, that who actually are the creators out there who are actually doing a good job. So another person that I follow on YouTube, and this is a little bit more on political stuff and stuff like that, but I think it's good to always learn. I've noticed that a lot of the media is very, it's very bipartisan, where, you get one side only. And, I don't think that's right to do that, to kind of limit yourself to what people are saying only on one side of the spectrums. And here in the United States, it's left and the right. So I kind of want to get a little bit of fair share on everything. So I follow people from both sides of the spectrum. One person who I've noticed that I agree with a little bit more, and it's just me personally, is a guy named Ben Shapiro. This guy, I believe he's an attorney. I think he went to Harvard Law, and he actually talks a lot about politics, and he talks about a lot of just different issues that that we face, whether it's religion or politics or whatever. But I noticed that he's very, very logical, and he actually tries to not be as biased as most people. And I think you get really good media for that. And I'm not saying believe everything he says, and with none of these people, but I'm saying that these are the people who I've found that give some of the best advice in their field. Ben Shapiro, I think, is one of them for political and stuff like that. Those issues that people should talk more often about. Like abortion and stuff like that. But that's somebody who I would recommend if you're looking for somebody who's not. I'm not gonna say completely not biased, but he's less biased than the rest. So that's one guy I recommend. One guy also that on YouTube that has a big following, and I think that he's a very intelligent person. I think his name is Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson is actually a professor. I think he used to teach at I'm not sure if it was Harvard or not, but I know he teaches. I think currently he teaches at the University of Toronto. I'm not sure, but he's written many books. One of the latest books that he wrote was called the 12 Rules of Life. It's very simple stuff, like I think one of the rules is like make your bed, but he explains of what he's talking about. And this guy, he's actually a behavior psychologist, and he has a test online that I think is very amazing, where he talks about kind of to understand who you are, and kind of see objectively of how you can become a better person. And again, all these people that I'm talking about, and that's the reason why I'm talking about them, is because I believe that they have the same goal that I do, is how to make people become the better version of themselves. And that's the reason why I started this YouTube channel. It's the reason why I talk about this all the time, is because I strongly believe that people, you can be better than yourself. And I think that there's still a lot more potential of what you have. And I think that you can unlock it by little things that you do, whether it's discipline, whether it's weight loss, whatever it is, if you actually set your mind on something, you can actually achieve it. But there's different areas in your life that you have to work on. And I think that Jordan Peterson, first of all, I think he's brilliant. And he's read many books that, with that knowledge, I think that he has an understanding, and he can actually sit down and say, okay, well, especially with the personality test, you can actually see who you are, where you're coming from, and you can actually get pointers of what to do. But Jordan Peterson, one guy that I recommend too. So far, just to cap it up, for yoga with Adriene. For fashion, style, Tim Dessaint. For working out, the guy's amazing. AthleanX, Cavaliere. For cutting the bullshit, and a lot of stuff that you see, a lot of other creators who are kind of just in it for the wrong reasons. Every Damn Day Fitness, Alan Rogers. And for politics, religion, kind of a not that biased opinion, Ben Shapiro. And I believe for education, learning, reading, being a better version of yourself, to the fundamental core essence and with a lot of research put into it, Jordan Peterson. So those are my recommendations. Again, that's my opinion with all these things. So that's me being a YouTube viewer for many years, and that's who I've learned to kind of follow and kind of I actually respect the content they're creating. So yeah, if you want to go and do that, that's great. I'm gonna put a link down in the description box with just all their their channels as well. They didn't pay me for none of this. They're not sponsoring this at all. I just think that they're people who I would recommend to a child if I had one. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Hit the like button if you like what you saw. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and also hit the bell notification. Every time I post a video, you'll get alerted. And feel free to put down in the comment box some other people you recommend, other channels. I'll be glad to kind of take a look at them.